We've been waiting on these for a while. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. So you're going to notice this looks a little bit different. It's a different angle. I sit for work all day and my back is hurting a little. So I need to stand up for a few of these recordings. Now, I mentioned in this video, whenever we went through the list of all the documents, that I was going to go through these one at a time. Now, I'm going to do all of the documents, unlike for the death penalty argument, whenever I felt so much dread for all of those postings. I'm excited for this. Now, I understand the reason for the death penalty argument. I get it, all right? But I care about the facts of the actual event. And this is going to give us information on so much, hopefully, that we've been having a lot of questions about. Now, right off the bat, they want to suppress so many things. And all of these suppression warrants are several pages long and hopefully go into the right kind of detail. Now, we're going to get a couple of these out of the way first because they are part of this new drop. We have the defendant's sixth motion to compel discovery, and it states, comes now Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorneys of record and pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16F, hereby moves the court to order the state to comply with defendant's 16th supplemental request filed 8/5/2024, defendant's 17th supplemental request filed 8/26, and the defendant's 18th supplemental request filed 11/7. Each of the requested items that are still outstanding are outlined in the attached sixth motion to compel. Exhibit A and B will be filed conventionally in person and under seal on November 18th of 2024. So Monday? Counsel requests that this motion be set for hearing in order to present oral argument, evidence, and or testimony in support thereof. 1 hour is being requested. Now, the exhibits for this have been filed under seal. Now, we also have the defendant's 19th supplemental request for discovery. We had their 18th request actually file on October the 30th. This one is about Exhibit R, and it states that, just like what we read earlier, that it's going to be handed in person on Monday, and it will be filed under seal. Now, this next extra one seems to be stuff from Professor Cover that I guess wasn't allowed to be presented. It states it's Exhibit A, PowerPoint by Professor Cover, or is it Cover? I know they talked about that in court. I think it's Cover. And data in support of study, redacting child and SA victims' names. Why are we talking about that in this case? PDF documents attached. USB electronic of same will be filed no later than 11/18/24. Due to small print created by PDF conversion of Professor Cover's study, the USB electronic file is more readable. Now, I wanted to say, this reminded me of this. I've been seeing some talk on Twitter and on Reddit that there was a USB handed over to the defense team from the blonde lady, the Beatty lady that was there whenever Bill Thompson was not there, whenever they had this DP argument the other day. I don't really think anything of it. I figured it's probably just extra discovery because it's going from the state over to the defense team. That's probably all that it was, especially since we have these requests for discovery and then the state responding, stating, hey, we're responding to all these things within guidelines, their typical format that they send out. I don't think that it's anything spectacular or special. I figure it's probably, just discovery, more stuff that they're now claiming that they haven't had time to go through, which, that's coming up here in a minute because this is editing me cutting in here. So this is basically part of their death penalty argument. And it's just kind of going through all of the codes, talking about what other states have done. This is 50 pages. Oh yeah, that fuzzy aggravator. Strange verbiage for sure. And as always, guys, these documents and the links for where all of this is public access and is always in the description box so that you can go and check all this out yourself. I am not going to go through all of this PowerPoint because, like I said, I understand the death penalty argument, but I really want to get to the facts of the case before we even get to that point. So now we also have a defendant's motion for leave that got filed. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we're going to look up together what this actually means. I did look it up the other day, but I've sort of forgotten about it because it sort of just sounds like they're asking for like a deadline extension or something like that. I could be wrong. We're going to go back over that here in a second. But this is the defendant's motion for leave, and it states, comes now Bryan C. Kohberger by and through his attorneys of record, and hereby moves the court for leave from the court's order governing further criminal proceedings and notice of trial settings, specifically the motion discovery motions deadlines of November 14th of 2024, which was yesterday. When was this filed and stamped? The 13th. So this was filed prior to the deadline, but didn't become public until today. Okay. Defense counsel and investigators have not finished a full review of the vast amount of discovery in this case and will continue to do so. Counsel requests that this motion be set for hearing in order to present oral argument evidence in our testimony, and they request an hour. So yeah, that sounds about right. So let's just make sure. A motion for leave is a motion filed in court which asks the court to consider allowing the filer of the motion to depart from the established procedures of the court, most classically procedures setting out specific timeframes which must be followed while filing documents and making motions. For example, a motion for leave might ask the court to accept a document after the filing deadline. So yeah, they're basically asking for a deadline to be pushed back, but that's already been denied. It was denied 2 days later, which was actually filed today, 11/15, and it states, order denying motion for leave. Before the court is defendant's naked motion for leave, November 13th, 2024, in which he seeks relief from the discovery motions deadline of November 14th, 2024, as set forth in the governing scheduling order. And there's a footnote that states, order governing further criminal proceedings and notice of trial setting, which was October 9th, 2024. Defendant asserts his counsel and investigators are still reviewing the vast amount of discovery in this case, and therefore he needs additional time to file motions related to discovery. Motions to enlarge a deadline filed on the eve of the deadline are not well taken. The state's discovery deadline was September 6th of 2024. Defendant could have ascertained far sooner whether the discovery motions deadline would pose a difficulty and brought it to the court's attention. Further, and importantly, defendant has not demonstrated with his filings good cause to enlarge the deadline. He has not set forth what efforts have been made to review the discovery, what portion of discovery has not yet been reviewed, why it has not been reviewed, or how long it will take to complete such review. Subsequently, his motion is denied with a second footnote that states, this order does not foreclose discovery motions pertaining to new or supplemental discovery responses, or in the event new information comes to light requiring additional discovery motions. So he's basically stating that, no, you do not get to push a deadline back because A, you should have known ahead of time that you were going to run out of time to give the court more notice that you were going to need more time, which I agree with. I feel like they got away with a lot with Judge, and they think that they can just like continue to just play around and not do their job correctly and just kind of like skate by doing the bare minimum. So Judge Hippler is here to tell them, no, there's procedures that go with this and like timelines and ways that this is supposed to happen, and this ain't it. But this also doesn't mean that anything else can't be submitted, as what this states right here. Let's reread footnote number 2. This order does not foreclose discovery motions pertaining to new or supplemental discovery responses, or in the event new information comes to light requiring additional discovery motions. This is just stating for this one, you're not winning this argument. You didn't give us enough notice and you should have known ahead of time, and this is just... no. On top of that, I also agree. Like, you should be able to be like, we went through this, this, and this, and this, and this, and we still need to go through this, 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 and this. And he's asking for them to show their work, which, you know, there's an entire generation of children that weren't taught that. So this might be a bigger problem later on in life. Who knows? Okay, now look. The Franks hearing information is literally just something stating we need to talk. That's all this is. So I'm going to end this video with this one because after this, it's going to be separate filings for each thing. We have, like I mentioned in the preview of the documents, we have suppression for genetic information. the Amazon warrant, warrants at the apartment, warrants for Apple, the PCA itself, aka the arrest warrant, the first AT&T warrant. So we're going to be comparing a few things in that one. Cell phone data, Google, pin trap trace device. I am really, really super curious about that one. Person in Idaho, a person in Pennsylvania. Those are the ones I'm even more curiouser about. The white Hyundai, and then whatever 119 Lambsden statements that's redacted, whatever in the world this means. The Lambsden warrant that I mentioned is actually the address for the Kohberger residence. We don't talk about that like ever, so it just didn't hit me in the brain, but I went and took a look, and that's the place of arrest. So that'll be an interesting one. So we're going to read this last little document, and then I'm going to close this one off. And the first one that's going to be coming up after this, when it comes to this, because we're going to do it in order of them being filed, is the genetic information. So be watching for that one after this one. But this just clearly and very simply states, motion for Frank's hearing. Comes now Bryan C. Kohberger by and through his attorneys of record and moves the court to conduct a Frank's hearing. This motion is made pursuant to the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, Article 117 of the Idaho Constitution, and Franks versus Delaware 438 U.S. 164 from 1979. That is the case that created the name for what this hearing actually is for. A proffer and exhibits are filed contemporaneously in support in accordance with State versus Fisher from 2004. The parties stipulate to the sealing of the proffer and exhibits. A stipulation is filed contemporaneously. The under seal proffer and exhibits are being provided to opposing counsel and court staff via email on the date of this motion. Hand delivery to the court for in-person filing will occur no later than November 18th, 2024, which would be this coming Monday. So that's it. I'm closing this one out. Gonna get it out, ready to go, and then I'm going to get this one ready to go. It is currently 5:15 p.m., but that's it, you guys. Let me know what you're expecting to hear. Let me know, are you anxious? Are you excited like I am? Because I want details. I want facts. I understand, like I said, all of the argument so far for the death penalty, but this is what I've been waiting for. Factual information. More to fight idiots with. I just love it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that you have that notification bell set to all so you don't miss any of these next documents, any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or other deep dives. See y'all.